What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the post-game show of Everything NYJ. I'm your host, Gino Pagano, Italy Jet. This is Vinny in the Jets. How are you doing on this crazy day?
Oh, amazing, Gino. Thank you for having me on.
No problem, always. He's one of my Italian brothers. I got plenty of them in the Jets community. It's awesome. Man, dude, I was surrounded by Browns fans today, right? That's not the worst part of it. I got heckled, which I don't mind getting heckled. I get heckled 24/7. I'm always in it. But I made sure I found that guy and heckled him back and with much respect, which was really nice. But overall, I know you had a couple kiddos. I know you were probably bouncing around a lot today. Tell me about what happened with your kiddos today.
Well, the older one went to grandma's house today. I have a 5-year-old daughter, but my 4 month
Mm,
old son, he actually stayed home. That was my first game with him, father and
mm,
son. And I can't tell you, like the whole time, like I must be the worst dad in the world because I called Coach Saleh and Flacco every dirty name under the sky for 3.5 quarters. For 3.5 quarters. And then it
right.
wasn't until just like a minute left or a minute, I think it was a minute 13.
Yeah.
You're down 13 points. You need two scores and an
Right.
onside kick. And I was just like, we haven't had. I came on Asman's show earlier today. I stated earlier when I was like, we have not had a miracle to this magnitude since the Midnight Miracle 20 something years ago with Vinny T and company.
Yeah, definitely. I can only say what the see every okay. This is why I got a problem with the Jets community, right? Y'all be like giving up too easily, man. Y'all be giving up too easily. Every single time when we do something bad and then they go up by like two or three scores, you still got 7 to 9 minutes left in the game. It's fine. We're gonna be okay. We gotta give it all the way until it goes to zero. And it's like I had a feeling we were coming back. The momentum switched definitely. When Chubb gave up that like run and stuff, he just gave it to us. And then Flacco, the Wilson, and then also to Davis. Like, dang. And he didn't drop it. He didn't drop it.
Can't
I
believe
mean,
it. The guy
I
who's been
couldn't
dropping
believe it.
passes since last year is the one that comes up with the money shot to bring us back into it. And you know what? I'll be the first person hand up. I was calling for this guy to get benched after the first quarter. I wanted him benched at halftime. But I have to say it's a testament to Coach Saleh for showing the faith and
Right.
sticking with Flacco to the nitty-gritty end. Because you have to understand with professional sports, especially the quarterback position, once you bench the guy, you can never go back to him. You know
Right.
what I mean? There's no going
Right.
back at that point.
There's no going back. Mr. Simon, welcome back to the show. Great win. Many happy Jets fans for this game. Our defense was good. We needed a miracle. yeah, we did. We definitely needed a miracle. They were getting to us, but the offense is what won the game for us, in my opinion. So that's what I think. And then DKB, what's good, boys? I'll try to tap in if I can. Yeah, brother, come on, roll on. And then way too many drops. Yes, way too many drops. Conklin, for the life of me, catch a ball. Come on. And then I know
Not
Ruckert
only him, what
had
about
one,
what Ruckert had a couple drops too? I'm like, what's
and then
going on here?
yeah, Wilson had a couple of them too. And then there was a couple fumbles too. And I'm like, dude, what? Do we not learn anything from last week? Thank God Wilson bounced back. He redeemed himself. And this time it wasn't Davis. This time it wasn't Davis. Davis actually did pretty well. He had a couple catches from what I saw that were good and with the touchdown.
Well, he
And
had to
then,
redeem himself. He had to
oh,
redeem
he had
himself,
to.
and I've been hearing whispers online. Don't be surprised if they use him as trade bait going into the trade deadline. Because if he keeps it up with these drops, and he had the injury last year, they
Right,
would flip him for something. Because you have to, no matter what happens at the end of the year, he's not on this
right.
roster next year. It's a $9 million cap hit. There's no way they're bringing him back.
Man, I mean, I got my good luck today, though. I wore him today. So I wanted some good luck, and he gave me some luck. And I understand about the $9 million and stuff, but like I would love to bring him back for cheap. Honestly, I would. I've been a fan of him since he was with Tennessee, but I think you are probably right if he's trade bait or next year. But if they reconstruct it like they did with C.J. Mosley, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him back. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm not at the point where I'm saying he's got to go just yet because you know what I
Right,
mean. This was the weakness of this team last year. I mean, at some point, I think it was week 16 or 7, the best receiver on the team was Braxton Berrios, and that's unacceptable. He's your wide receiver 4. So Depth was an issue, and that hasn't been an issue this year. I mean, for God's sake, we had a very capable Denzel Mims who could have been activated today, and he's still not traveling with the team. And that says a lot with the depth that Douglas has put on this team at the wide receiver position.
And not only that, our special teams came out today and balled out. Like, that's
Oh
what
my
we needed with
goodness.
the onside kick and the fake punt. Are you kidding me? I
Uh,
love that.
tell me you weren't.
I love that.
Tell me you weren't shaking in your boots when Zerline had to hit that PAT to put them above. I was just. I was like, this would be typical Jets if he shanks the PAT. I was so nervous.
And he does it anyway. His whole career, that's all he did was shank in the beginning and shake from further out. It just didn't matter. I still get PTSD from Greg Zuerlein, anything he does. So, yeah, I was shaking in my boots and I was stressed out, 100%.
I feel everybody that was a GOAT in last week's game that we attended ended up being a hero today, whether it was Zuerlein, Flacco,
right.
just
man.
Yeah. How could you forget man? I mean, we all wanted him. We wanted him gone that night. Right. I didn't even want him on the flight to Cleveland. Never mind being a hero today. And they signed that punter, what's his name, Ty Long, who's statistically actually worse than he is.
Awful. Absolutely awful. You can't make this stuff up. And then when Blankenship went on waivers, it's like, let's bring him in, get him in. And I'm like, all right, well, knowing the Jets, they're going to keep him for one more week, and then they'll see what happens with Man and see what happens with Zuerlein afterwards. But Man redeemed himself today. Yeah. And so did Zuerlein. So hopefully that goes in with the Bengals next week. We'll talk more about that. But one game soon, we will put a full game together, defense and offense. Hope it's against the Bengals. They are now 0-2. That's exactly what I want to talk about. Bengals are 0-2, and they're not looking good. Like, the defense has been getting at their offensive line like crazy, and the Cowboys won on a field goal today. And I'm feeling good going to the Bengals. We won against them last year. Like, we could totally beat this team, in my personal opinion. What do you think?
It's definitely, a winnable game, especially the fact that you won with a depleted team last year with Mike White at the helm, who had the best game of any Jets quarterback in the last 10 years in that particular game. The thing that's got me concerned, though, is part of me actually wouldn't have minded had the Bengals won today. I know it's an AFC opponent and you want them to lose, but now they're 0-2, and you got to figure they're going to come into that game next week with blood in their eyes. They can't afford to go to 0-3, and they're going to get ready. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us.
Hey, bring it on. From what I saw with the trick plays today, I think we can beat this team. Reed saved our butts with Chubb on that one play. Could have had an easy TD, but Reed stepped up today. Garrett Wilson is going to be a Pro Bowler. Oh, yeah, Garrett Wilson, hands down.
He is a beast. I could say he looks like the best wide receiver in this year's class. But, at some point, though, these injuries, man, my God, the Jets medical staff needs to be re-examined. There was a point in this game, like I was watching it live with the guys from Let's Talk, where Sauce, Brees, and a third player I can't think of off the top of my head. We had 3 injuries to 3 starters in a 7-minute window. How does this happen? Right. How does that happen?
It's the freaking Jets. They always get injured somehow, some way, even if it's just like a cap. He'll be out for 3 weeks. I don't know.
No, but
we always have bad luck with injuries.
Not for nothing, though. How come when it's our best players, though, it's these catastrophic injuries? But when it's second string and on, I don't know what, they don't even scrape a friggin' knee. Nothing. No,
you're right. You're right. All right, Singing Preacher, man. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Hey. Appreciate you being on. But yeah, dude, I think, so I said some stuff about Sauce Gardner on Twitter today, and I said, hey, like, he did not look good to me this game. I think he had an off game today. I know people were like, well, they need to go on that third down. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. But, like, Reed played a lot better than Sauce, in my opinion. What do you think?
I don't think it was the worst game ever. I mean, there are definitely things that need to be cleaned up. But even if you go back to Darrelle Revis's rookie year, he was getting picked on left and right his rookie season. Right. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember his week 2 matchup when he lined up with Randy Moss. I mean, he just made him look silly. And look, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Am I comparing Sauce to Revis? No, I don't think we're at that level yet. But what I'm saying is he's a rookie and he's going to take his lumps.
Right. And overall, I am being dramatic tonight. I'm just so hyped because of the win, and I'm being a little bit dramatic. You're right. It's not the worst game ever. I'm just saying he just. I think this was an off game for him, and I hope he bounces back. I know he's going to have all the rookie mistakes and stuff, but overall, Mr. Simon, I agree it's a winnable game, but now we can learn to win coming off a win like this because it would be a typical Jets to put up a stinker. I mean, it happened last year. I
Yeah.
mean, we won 2 games last year, and then the games after that, it is a stinker. That's what it did. It just went to being a stinker. So I hope we can learn from this and go on and just no more injuries this week. Get Zach Wilson back on track. Hopefully, get Dwayne Brown back eventually. And I still want to see a couple signings. Like I really do want to see the safety position be addressed in this trade deadline.
You
I
didn't
also
like
want to
Ashton
see.
Davis today? You got to pick.
Listen. Tony Davis not Tony Davis.
Tony Adams.
Tony Adams did not do good today, but yes, Ashton Davis, he did surprise me, and I'm very happy that he got that pick. But I mean, just like what Mr. Simon's saying, if he stinks next week, what are you going to do? Joyner, what do you think about Joyner? Do
Oh,
you
he's
think
got to
Joyner
go.
did?
He has
Thank
got to
you, Lord.
go.
Thank you, Lord.
Oh my God, he is. Does that mean I'm ready to see Ashton Davis? Hell no, hell no. But make a play. Listen, they got to make a move. I don't know if it's via trade. I don't know if you can
Right.
elevate somebody from the practice squad to create some type of competition. But Lamarcus Joyner just got cut up, roasted, and sliced today. He could, had they lost the game, he could have been easily the guy to point the finger at.
Right.
I understand the guy didn't play football at all last year, but my God, you got to play better than that. Show up, you know?
Right. Agreed. Mr. Simon also said there's a chance to put this same old Jets garbage behind us. And you know what? I mean, I think that's what we've been saying the last 11 years. I mean, the same old Jets, same old Jets. The Jets have a great history. We have a history of winning teams. Okay. We've had winning teams before. When I was a kid, the Jets dominated, even when I was in high school. And then when I turned 20, that's when things kind of just went downhill. But like the same old Jets, I hate that reference. I know how much you hate that reference too. We talked about it before. But it's just he's right. We have a chance to go in the Bengals and win, and go 2-1, then get Zach Wilson back for the Steelers. But here's the thing, though, Vinny. If Flacco wins against the Bengals, what do you do? Do you stick with Flacco or do you stick with come
No,
back to Wilson? What do you think?
you have to go
No.
back to Wilson. He's the second overall pick, and you need to find out what he is this year. You have
Yeah.
to. I don't
Yeah.
care if we started 3-0 with Flacco. There's no future here with Flacco. He's probably not even on the team next year. He's 37 years old. He's older than me. What more do I need to say? He's
Well,
older
I
than
mean,
me.
well, how old are you?
36.
Well, you don't look 36 at all. I'm just saying. Uh, but
But
agree.
here's a question. Here's a question. I just I
Yeah.
know this is your show, but I got to throw
No,
this
go
back at
for
you.
it.
Did
Hey,
you
shoot,
watch?
this is
Did you see Zach this week in practice? Is he really hurt? Is he? He looked fine just to me. Can he play this game on Sunday? You know what I mean? Is he really
yeah.
truly hurt? Because you know, with the staff, they said going into the Ravens game, oh, there's a slight chance he might be able to play on Sunday. Then the very next day, in less than 24 hours, oh, you're not going to see him until Pittsburgh. They did the same thing with Mekhi Becton. Oh, it's 2 to 3 weeks. It's 6 to 8 weeks. Oh, no, it's actually the whole season. I don't trust this medical staff at all. Are they hiding something?
That's a very good question, and I will answer that question after Simon. I agree. We do need a safeties upgrade. Yes, we do. You do have to go with Zach Wilson. We need to know. Yes, you are correct. We do need to know. Uh, you know what? I have been tossing and turning about that. I've been watching all the videos, everything that's popping up, training camp, and everything. And you know what? I I've had 2 knee operations and they were pretty bad. I tore my MCL completely. I tore my meniscus completely with a couple ligaments, and it's hard to come back from that. It took me a year each with both knees,
Ugh.
but I think overall, especially he re-injured that like again in 10 months. That's a lot for one knee. He might look good in practice. He might look good doing drills, but you'll know when you see him on the field if he's still truly injured. I mean, look at Mekhi Becton. We that whole practice when he just kept going and going and going. he didn't look healthy. He looked like dog crap. He didn't look good at all. I think for me, everyone is sick and tired of the doctors at the Jets. I totally understand that, but for me, I think he still needs time. I think he still needs time. Yeah, did he look good during those practices at training camp? But I still think he needs time. That's just my personal opinion. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it's an opinionated question. There's no right or wrong
Yeah.
answers here.
Right.
If I'm the coaching staff and I think he gives you the best opportunity to play, you have to put him out there. If he's truly not 100%, fine and well. I don't want to get to the week of Pittsburgh when he first said you won't see him till Pittsburgh, and they say, well, he needs
Right.
another week or another two.
Yeah.
That's going to infuriate me.
Oh, it's going to infuriate everyone because I think that's what they should have done is keep him until Pittsburgh. I 100% agree that they should have done that already. But if he doesn't come back at Pittsburgh, everyone's going to be knocking on those gates at Florham Park and be like, "What the hell?" So I totally get that. He should talk to Joe Namath.
Gee.
I mean, Zach Wilson has talked to Peyton Manning. He's talked to Troy Aikman. He's talked to Joe Montana. He's talking to all of these guys. Like Joe Namath is not going to be just another. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
He could talk. He could talk to everybody, and it still ain't gonna make. It still ain't gonna make a difference. But overall, with Zach Wilson, yeah, we do need to find out what he's made of this year. You are absolutely correct, Benny. And I think overall, we got to look at the dynamic is coming off this win, this comeback win. You know, if this was 2 years ago, Jets would have already been blown out. Jets would have already been done. My question is for you, Vinny. Do you think this is the same old Jets? Do you think there is more willpower now?
I think there's potential there. There's potential.
Okay.
I'm not like I said last week. You were at the game with me. It was infuriating to watch that. It was mind numbing. Like we thought we were past this shit. But it takes a lot for me. Once you get to the point where you say the coach has got to go, I'll be ready to say it. The schedule is incredibly tough. You can't if they went winless in September, like if they started, God forbid, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, then it would have been the writing's on the wall. There's no need to go to the third year. You got to get somebody else. This year is about putting some wins together. And then in December, can they just be in the graphic on the TV at the end of the year where they're one of those teams that says in the hunt? I didn't expect the playoffs this year. I didn't. But can you win 7 or 8 games and, look like an NFL team? 7 or 8, and then next year you add 1 or 2 more pieces and you go for it.
Right. I agree. Simon saying Joe Namath's knees were bad right out of college. He strapped on a brace and went out and threw strikes. Well, that was kind of like the old like NFL during his era. I think they just kind of did whatever and went on and go get a paycheck. I feel like the NFL's injury stuff now is different. I think they're more conservative. I think they're more conservative when it comes to injuries now. What do you think?
Well, especially when it comes to the quarterbacks, there's so many rules now to protect the quarterbacks. It's great. You could barely touch them. I mean, especially if Tom Brady's on the field. I mean, you go like this and it's a personal foul. I mean, when I've read books when Namath was playing, like I read his book all the way or whatnot. I mean, back then they were really hitting you. He was one of the toughest passers of his time. I mean, and I always I admired it. I mean, I wasn't old enough to watch him play, but I've always been fascinated by the history of this team. That's actually his painting back there. I don't know if you could see it. My mom had that painted for me in Atlantic City of Joe Namath. Nice. It's cool to say that, he won one of the most important Super Bowls in the history of the team. But again, I mean, back then it was a different game. I mean, now they do everything possible to protect these quarterbacks, not just for them, but the NFL, they need their ratings. They wanted to see Zach Wilson play outside, not 37-year-old Joe Flacco. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, you're not wrong. And now you can't touch a QB. They used to kill QBs. Oh yeah, they did. I mean, look at Taylor as the Giants. I mean, he just annihilated people. Sack Exchange annihilated people. And then finally, Klecko is finally going to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, fingers crossed. But
he's in. He's in.
Well,
it's just a formality at this point that you got it, but he's basically in.
Like I said, I've been saying before, I'm not gonna like see it until I'm not gonna believe it until I see it. Like I've been screwed with Klecko before. I've been screwed with other players before. I just want to see it. You know what I mean? Then
he's going.
It'll reassure me. I totally get that though, Vinny. I totally get that. Do you think Jordan Whitehead, Lawson, and Kwan, do you think they weren't relevant today? Do you think they were off today?
I think Quan Alexander, he was hitting hard today. I mean, he came to bang, but I mean, as far as Whitehead goes, Lawson, it's an incomplete. It's not good enough. I mean,
Right.
I don't think, if you look at the stat sheet, and I don't have a laptop or stats, I don't think we generated one
Right.
sack. Not one. We did force the turnover with Ashton Davis, but that's the end of the game. There was so many pivotal points of this game. Need a turnover to change the momentum. There's so many times in this game where if they just get a turnover, it changes the momentum completely. I mean, I felt like we were dead for 3.5 quarters.
And not only that, C.J. Mosley had an off game today, but the bright spot on the Jets defense was Reed. Reed having a second good game in a row coming from the Baltimore to this game. Do you think overall, when it comes to Reed, is he the bright spot, the only bright spot right now?
Oh, we got other bright spots, but what a signing he was by Joe Douglas. I mean, I didn't see him coming here, and he got him for a sensational deal. I think he formed a great tandem between him and Sauce, because I think it's evident from last week's performance. Bryce Hall's not a CB1 or 2 on this team at all, and it's a testament to show how ugly that 2020 class keeps getting. By the minute it keeps getting uglier. But Reed, I think, is great. Sauce played great. We need safety help. Whitehead was supposed to be that guy that was bringing the wood on the back end, and you got to find someone else to partner with him back there because LaMarcus Joyner is not getting it done.
He's not. And then Liam's tuning in from work, and that's what I thought. I thought he had a sack today. I remember that.
You did have a sack. Okay. I must have missed that.
And then, Simon, do you realize Flacco's record against the Browns is 18? Well, I mean, isn't a lot of quarterbacks
that goes back to all those years that they sucked, and every single year they would start the season 0-12. Come on.
Right. But Browns are a different team. That's why this was going to be a tough game. This was just going to be a tough game all the way through. So, in my opinion, Liam, what's up, buddy? Hope you're having fun at work. But overall, this is what happens when you unleash the offense, right? Before doing these trick plays, Boyer did something good on special teams for once. This is what happens when we have a creative offensive coordinator. That it kind of reminded me of what the St. Louis Rams did back in the day when I was working for them. They did trick plays all the time with Danny Amendola. That's what I love. That's what I love to see. And then we just kept sticking with Wilson, which I was happy about, because we needed to unleash him. But we didn't see much of Elijah Moore today, but I can honestly say Elijah Moore, he's got to be pissed, in my opinion, because Wilson's out, getting touches from him. What do you think?
But that's the thing, though, with Elijah Moore. He takes all the attention off of Garrett Wilson. You have to understand, right now, Elijah's lining up as wide receiver 1, so they're all worried about him, and that opens up the passing game for guys like Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, even Braxton Berrios in the slot. That's a good thing to have. That's a really good thing to have.
I agree. Simon said we will be drafting an old lineman and safety next year. Yes, we will, and I hope we do. Or we go out in free agency and get someone too. Either way, I will be happy when that does happen. Liam, so much fun. Rather be joining you guys. Yes, I know, buddy. I know. But we'll be back on with you tomorrow with Long Beach Joe. We got Long Beach Joe on the podcast tomorrow night. It's going to be really fun. Can't wait. But overall, I think this is a step in the right direction for the Jets. I think Saleh needs to work on the timeouts. He should have called timeouts at certain times. I'm surprised do you think he went for it a lot in this game?
I did like the call for the fake punt early in the game and being aggressive. I really like the move. I mean, that's playing to win the game and not rolling over. The thing with me, though, I said it last week. He did it again this week. Body language. There was a lot of this going on the sideline. There was a lot of hands on the hips going on when things going bad. Listen, I'm on record saying I'm not saying fire Saleh or Saleh's not. We're not at that point yet.
We're not at that point. No.
But I'm not a fan of these coaches that want to be friends with the players. I wanted somebody to break balls. If they're screwing up on the sideline, I'm old school. I go back to the Parcells days. A guy dropped the pass when Parcells was coaching. He grabbed him by the throat and he would say, "You do it again, you're on another team next week." That's the era I grew up in. But the
Yeah,
thing
I get
is,
that.
with the way the NFL is structured now, these guys make so much money. The players have much more power than the owners.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Like you could be friends with them and have a great group together, but at the same time, when someone does make a mistake, you gotta let them know. That's why I think Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson took too long with that relationship in Seattle for as much as they did. And I'm not surprised that he went to the Broncos because I think a lot of people in the Seattle organization, in my opinion, that were just unhappy because Wilson wouldn't take accountability. But Mr. Simon, you can't play conservative with the teams. Our margin of error isn't it great, so you have to go for it. We are still building. We are still building, and we got a lot of depth. And you're right, we can't play conservative. Modine, Jets were down about two TDs with 150 left. I'll take it because we needed a win, but the Browns really gave away this game. Don't get too high, just like we can't get too low when we lose. Um, okay.
I think that's really well said. I have to agree there. He's right. He's right because you know what? Up until the last couple of minutes of the game, we were ready to ride Saleh and Flacco out of town. We were, all of us, hand up. I was ready to kill them both.
I get what he's saying, and I get what you're saying, but I'm just always been that guy to like I don't until it strikes zero, anything could happen. It could be a challenge play, a penalty, like not even a like a drop ball or something. Like I just always just go down to zero. I mean, I like I said, I agree with them, but I also have a different perspective on it too. I know Mr. Simon agrees with Mr. Dean. Thanks for the comment, Mr. Dean. Um, Overall, do you think going into this game, do you think Carter and Hall? Do you like the way they switched up Carter and Hall? Carter was a workhorse.
Oh yeah, I mean they could be thunder and lightning right there. I think Brees needs more carries though. I think as eventually as the season goes on, I think you'll see him move up the depth chart to RB1. And that's not to dismiss what Michael Carter can do. Michael Carter is like a power running back. I mean, he reminds me kind of like a young Maurice Jones-Drew. I mean, he's slippery. I mean, guys, he just bangs and gets off guys and cuts to the outside. I love it. I absolutely love the 1-2 punch.
I agree with you. But Modine's saying, "Now we're in the Super Bowl. Please bring." Yo, everyone in this chat, we'll just do it. We'll go to New York. We win a Super Bowl. We'll burn it down, and we can finally say that we won a Super Bowl after the name it days. That would be fantastic, in my opinion. But
If they legitimately won the Super Bowl with Robert Saleh as the head coach, I think, and I'm a Yankee fan too, for obvious reasons, he would become bigger than Joe Torre in the city. That's what much of a big deal it would be if they won the Super Bowl. Believe me.
man, that's a pretty big thing. I'm a Red Sox fan, so
Ugh.
I ooh, should have been good this year, but we aren't. And yeah, I cap off to the Yankees. I hope they do some good things. So is the Mets. Hope they all do some good things. But I know your perspective is not like that, so I get it. Um, Overall, last thing I want to talk about before we go, the Bengals. I want to talk about the Bengals. What do you think we need to do against the Bengals going into this week?
I think it starts up front with your front seven. You got to make just life on Joe Burrow a living hell. You got to disrupt him early. And I think that starts with your front line with JFM and Quinnen Williams. I mean, I know Quinnen got hurt today. I don't know the severity of the injury. But if they can be that disruptive force right at the lines, it's going to throw his timing off. I mean, look how poorly he played these past 2 weeks. That offense looks like a mess, and they have no excuses right now when you got a great quarterback in Joe Burrow and arguably the best receiver in the league in Jamar Chase with a good complementary piece in T. Higgins on the outside.
I agree 100% with you. Simon keeps saying Bryce is a beast. He will be better and better. I agree with that. If the Jets win the Super Bowl, it will stunt every other championship. Hey, man. So, Vinny, you might have something going with that then. Um, Thank you for being on the show, Vinny. Guys, commenting, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow night, me and Liam with a Long Beach Joe. Tune in to that. Follow Vinny on everything social media that he has. Vinny, where can they find you?
On YouTube, just as it states on the screen. Come check me out at Vinny and the Jets. Please like, share, subscribe. I break down the games every week. I also do point spreads before the week starts. I just recently got back onto Twitter. So on Twitter, you'll find me at Vin and the Jets. That's VIN and the Jets, but the display name will still read Vinny and the Jets. Not to be confused with the other one, because he's Vinny and the Jets, THA.
Yeah.
There's a little confusion, but we finally actually messaged each other, and no hard feelings. It was just a coincidence.
Yeah. I take full responsibility. I'm claiming this dynamic duo that what you guys are going to do in the future. I'm just saying. All right, so guys, you can find everything NYJ on these socials right here. You can also find me on these socials right here. Appreciate everything you guys following. Celebrate. Tomorrow's a new day. Go Jets. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, buddy.